Hey scholars, happy Thursday! We are continuing with our core knowledge read alouds, Domain 11, Lesson 9. The title for today's read aloud is Red Cedars and Grizzly Bears. Red Cedars and Grizzly Bears. That sounds like it's going to be super exciting, so let's dive right in. We'll do the vocab at bat since it's been a couple days. We'll go over the shout outs for us. I will go over the objective, lead you through the new vocabulary words, the read aloud of course, check our understanding, and the packet work. So let's go ahead and do vocab at bat. Who's got the word? I've got 4 options for you today, so listen closely. The diver permanent beneath the waves, the diver plunged beneath the waves, the diver protection against the waves, or the diver translate beneath the waves. 3, 2, 1. The diver plunged beneath the waves. George Driard was able to permanent for Lewis and Clark. George Driard was able to plunged for Lewis and Clark. George Driard was able to protection for Lewis and Clark. George Driard was able to translate for Lewis and Clark. 3, 2, 1. George Driard was able to translate for Lewis and Clark. We use sunscreen for permanent against the sun's rays. We use sunscreen for plunged against the sun's rays. We use sunscreen for protection against the sun's rays. We use sunscreen for translate against the sun's rays. 3, 2, 1. We use sunscreen for protection against the sun's rays. Mrs. Kulma's tattoo, right there, is permanent and looks the same every day. Mrs. Kulma's tattoo is plunged and looks the same every day. Mrs. Kulma's tattoo is protection and looks the same every day. Mrs. Kulma's tattoo is translate and looks the same every day. 3, 2, 1. Mrs. Kulma's tattoo, that one right there, is permanent and it looks the same every day. All right, ISU. Let's see who's on the shout out board for ISU. 8, 9, 17, 18, 19, and 23. Major shout out to 9 and 23 because I got all of their work from Friday and their work from Monday. Ashford shout outs. 1, 3, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 24, 25, 27. If you see a star next to your name or next to your number, it means that I got your work from last Friday and from Monday. If you see other stars next to your name, it means that I've heard from you about a video this week. So keep that communication coming so I know you're watching the videos and getting your work done. Let's move right into objective, we learn all about it. I can recall which of President Jefferson's tasks Lewis and Clark accomplished in the read aloud. I can recall which of their tasks Lewis and Clark accomplished in the read aloud. Vocabulary. The first word we need to know is overturned. The first word we need to know is overturned, and overturned means flipped upside down. The world turned upside down. The cat overturned the bowl of water, something I have dealt with quite a lot. The next word you need to know is record. The next word you need to know is record. Record means to write down information in order to remember or share it. During the meeting, I used a notepad to record details about what was discussed. Map recap. Let's find it on the map. First, we got to find Atlantic Ocean. 3 seconds before I circle where it is. 3, 2, 1. You got it? It is over here. I'm just going to circle the word Atlantic, the words Atlantic Ocean. Next, we got to find the Appalachian Mountains. Find those Appalachian Mountains. 3, 2, 1. Green circle around the Appalachian Mountains. Next, we got to find the Mississippi River. Put your finger on that Mississippi River. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to trace the path of the Mississippi River, starting down here with New Orleans, coming all the way up through here, just like that. Next, we need to find the Rocky Mountains. Put a finger on those Rocky Mountains. 3, 2, 1. Red circle around the Rocky Mountains. Next, we're going to find the Louisiana Purchase. Put your finger on the Louisiana Purchase. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to put a big L in the green for Louisiana Purchase. Oh, Missouri River. Trace the Missouri River. Trace the Missouri River. 3, 2, 1. If you're following this red line that I'm going to draw a purple line next to, you are correct. This is the Missouri River. It is the path Lewis and Clark are taking. Ooh, point to the Pacific Ocean. Point to the Pacific Ocean. I'm going to circle in 3, 2, 1. And here's the Pacific Ocean right over there. That is our map recap. Now let's move on to the 3 tasks. The first task, make friends with Native Americans. Check, they've done that completely. The second task, find an all-water route to the Pacific Ocean. They haven't reached the Pacific Ocean yet, so we don't know if they've accomplished that task. The third task, collect samples of plants and animals. Last read aloud, I had a partial check mark. This read aloud, I'm completing the check mark because they discussed that they were sending back some of the animals they had collected for Thomas Jefferson. Now remember, these tasks are ongoing, so even though they've made friends with some of the tribes, even though they found some plants and animals, they still need more information. They need to know all about whatever lands there are to the west, through the Louisiana Purchase and beyond. So they're going to continue to collect these samples. They're going to continue to make friends with Native Americans as they continue their journey. So I want you to listen close to hear which of their tasks they continue to accomplish, right? They have 3. They've accomplished 2. They've accomplished 2 so far, but they need to continue to collect those samples and continue to make friends with Native Americans. So listen carefully to find out which of their tasks they accomplish in today's read aloud. After Lewis and Clark sent some of the team back with reports and scientific samples for President Jefferson, the captains and the rest of their crew continued west. They rowed in 2 of their original pirogues plus 6 new canoes made from hollowed out trees. These canoes, about 30 feet long and 3 feet wide, were hard to balance. More than once, as the men were getting used to them, the canoes overturned in mid-river, forcing the men to fish out wet supplies before going on. They had to get their supplies out of the water because the boats flipped over in the water and the supplies fell out. Despite this, Lewis wrote in his journal that the men were happy and healthy. Soon they left behind the flat plains and entered hilly land. Now the Missouri River became more difficult to travel. Forests of western red cedars lined the banks of the river. These beautiful trees were so important to Native Americans that some of the Native Americans in the area called themselves the people of the red cedar, performing special ceremonies before chopping down the huge evergreens. Lewis and Clark knew it would be impossible to take an entire tree back with them because of its gigantic size, almost 200 feet above the ground. That's as tall as a 20-story building. Nevertheless, the tree was so important to the lives of the Native Americans that they knew they must gather samples and record its many uses. They knew they had to write down information about the tree's many uses in order to remember and share it. They drew pictures and collected branches, cones, and seeds. As they learned more about the western red cedar from Native Americans in the area, both Lewis and Clark wrote about the importance of the western red cedar in their journals. The people and animals of the Northwest relied upon these trees for their existence. Native Americans used the bark of the tree to weave mats, baskets, and clothing, and used the wood to build canoes. Elk ate the leaves and shoots of the enormous trees. Bears hibernated or slept through the winter in hollow cedar logs. The picture you see is one that was taken in the early 1900s, so this isn't from the time of Lewis and Clark, but it gives you an idea of just how big that tree is. They've only started cutting through it. That man is laying in the middle, and that tree is nowhere close to falling. So these trees are enormous. They're huge. They're gigantic. The men often heard of bears called grizzly bears that made their homes in the hollow-out logs of the cedars. So as they made their way up the Missouri, William and Clark warned, Keep a sharp eye out for grizzly bears. One of the hunters says, "Don't worry, Captain, we've seen plenty of bears before back in Kentucky." Black bears, yes. Grizzly bears, no. From what I hear, it's like the difference between a house cat and a lion. So you've seen my cats in these videos. You've seen them. They're small. They're like 10 pounds. You know, I can pick them up and hold them. So what Lewis is saying is that comparing a black bear to a grizzly is like comparing my cat Venus to a lion, right? Which one are you going to be more cautious with? The lion, of course. So these grizzly bears sound pretty dangerous. One day, Lewis and another man were out hunting along the riverbank. Suddenly, they saw 2 giant grizzly bears up ahead. The bears rose on their hind legs, up and up, until they stood 8 feet tall. Then, roaring, the bears charged, raising their rifles and taking careful aim. Lewis and his companion shot one bear, but the other one kept coming right at them with frightening speed. "Run!" shouted Lewis, and the 2 men turned and ran for their lives. Lewis and the other man stopped running to take another shot, turned, took aim, and fired at the same instant. The loud bang was followed by a tense moment as the bear suddenly stopped running. It held still for a moment, and then it toppled over. Only when they were sure that the grizzly bear was dead did Lewis and his companion carefully approach the animal. Lewis later wrote in his journal that the bear weighed between 500 and 600 pounds and was 8.5 feet tall. That's taller than 2 first graders standing one on top of the other. After this frightening chase, Lewis told the whole party, "From now on, we must always move about and do even the simplest actions in parties of 2 or more. One man alone going up a grizzly would not stand a chance." Wow, that was short and exciting. Oh my goodness, my blood pressure. Whew. Okay. Check my understanding. Which task or tasks did Lewis and Clark accomplish in the story today? Which of their 3 tasks did they really accomplish? 3, 2, 1. What is the one plant? What is one plant that Lewis and Clark discovered? What is one plant they discovered in today's Read Aloud? Could Lewis and Clark bring a red cedar back with them? Why not? What did they decide to do instead? What did they decide to do instead? What was the animal that Lewis and Clark discovered today? Which animal? How are the grizzly bear and black bear the same? How are they the same? How are they different? Why did Lewis tell the group they must do things in parties of 2 or more? All right, that brings us to our packet pages today. Have Lewis and Clark accomplished all 3 of their tasks? Why do you think they haven't accomplished their second task? So they've accomplished 2 of the 3. Have they accomplished all of them? That's pretty simple. Yes, they have. No, they have not. Why do you think they haven't accomplished their second task? I'm going to give you the restate for the second one. I think they haven't accomplished their second task because, now you don't have to send in a picture of this one for an assignment, but if you want to send me a text of your thoughts on why they haven't accomplished the second task, They haven't accomplished their second task because they haven't reached the Pacific Ocean. They haven't accomplished it because there is no all-water route. They haven't accomplished it because they haven't had time or they haven't been looking. Whatever your thoughts on why they haven't accomplished their second task, write them down and then send me a text or email with your words. You don't have to send a picture of the work, okay? So, why do you think they haven't accomplished their second task? And that is it for this thrilling Thursday. It really was thrilling, wasn't it? Oh my gosh, that story about the bear chasing them. Whew, really glad everyone's still okay. So make sure you are doing your packet work, even if you don't have to send in pictures, still do the work. Stay home, stay safe. Send me a text of a vocabulary word you want us to draw in my next office hours, okay? I miss you all very, very much, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.